heard a lot of young men say that when it comes to the topic of pornography, they say, I don't understand what the big deal is. Nobody's really getting hurt. Well, I had heard that in Alaska some time ago, Inuit Indians, when they found a wolf on their territory, would kill it because otherwise the wolf could kill their livestock, their children, so they'd have to take it out. But they didn't want to fight the wolf, so they used its own appetite to take it down. The Inuit Indians would take one of their own little goats, they'd slaughter it and pour the blood of the goat onto a blade of a knife, and they'd let it freeze overnight. The next night, they'd put on more blood, and the next night, more blood. So they had a thick sheath of frozen blood. It was kind of like an icicle of blood. And at evening, they would take it out to the edge of their territory, bury the handle of the knife in the ground with the blade sticking out of the snow. Night falls. Now, wolves can smell blood from miles away. The wolf would find the dagger, and at first he'd be cautious because it was strange, but he smelled the blood, he couldn't resist. He'd start to lick the blood, and eventually the blood would be warmed up and start to be removed. Because it was frozen, it would numb the tongue of the wolf, so he can't feel it. When the edges of the blades start to be exposed, they'd start to cut him. He'd taste the fresh blood, not knowing it's his own. Eventually, he'd start to become dizzy, disoriented, and the wolf would die within hours of blood loss. And the identical thing happens with pornography, where a guy gets so excited, he's getting so much pleasure, and no one's getting hurt, and the day he pays the price is the day he actually tries to love a woman, and all he knows how to do is to take his own pleasure. Because when a man looks at pornography, he robs himself of the capacity to love a woman. He robs himself of the capacity to be captivated by her. Because when he looks at porn, he looks at a picture for 15 seconds, 30 seconds, and then he's bored. She could have the most beautiful body on earth, and he's bored with her in less than a minute flat. And then he hopes to jump into marriage and be captivated by his bride until death do they part. It doesn't happen. If you wish to love your future bride and even yourself, trash the pornography today, and you'll have a much more solid marriage to have in the future. In the meantime, stay strong and pure, and be assured of my prayers. God bless.